What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Talking Pigskin Playoff Edition. Now, Week 17 wasn't as eventful as we would hope it would be, but seeing the Buffalo Bills making the playoffs for the first time in 17 years does bring a smile in most of NFL fans, except for Jeff fans, or Dolphin fans, or Patriot fans. Anyways, congrats to the Buffalo Bills for finally making the playoffs. Let's see who else finally made it. The Tennessee Titans for the first time in 8 years, or I would say 10 actually, since 2008 when Kerry Collins led that team. However, it's Marcus Mariota and the new squad that's taking the team into the playoffs. Not sure if they're going to make any noise, but it's good to see new teams from the AFC make it. As much as I wanted to see Flacco and Phillip Rivers making the playoffs, unfortunately, didn't pan out that way. Especially the way the Ravens went down in fourth quarter with 30 seconds left to play. You losing to Andy Dalton with a bunch of nobodies on that team is pretty embarrassing. Speaking of embarrassment, Cincinnati Bengals. They gave Marvin Lewis a 2-year extension. I mean, what in God's name has that man earned another extension for? Since 1990, Cincinnati Bengals have yet to win a playoff game. But Marvin Lewis continues to get, is rewarded for a contract extension year after year. I mean, if you're going to sell your fan base mediocrity, but as a Jeff fan, I already know that, but for the Bengal fans, come on. You can't take that from the owner. Mike Brown needs to do better than that. But, it is what it is. The Bengals will always be Bengals. Anyways, enough about AFC. What happened in NFC last week? We saw a very entertaining game between the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles. No, that's a bunch of crap. A game ended 6-0 where both teams had nothing to play for. However, if I'm a Philly fan, I did want to see my team have some offensive power going into the playoffs, especially when Nick Foles has yet to look like a second-string quarterback. He doesn't even look like a third-string quarterback at this point. I'm not sure what the Eagles fans' expectations are in this playoffs, but they will have a divisional game next week, and hopefully they will try to somehow stay in that game, but I just don't see it happening no matter who goes into Philadelphia next week. But with all that being said, last thing I want to touch on was Seattle Seahawks. It looks like the dynasty is almost coming to an end. It's been fun 5 years for Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. However, the players are just not there anymore. Earl Thomas, a couple of weeks ago, went up to Jason Garrett after the game and said, "Come get me when it's time." That should say it all. And then Pete Carroll comes in yesterday and says it will be hard for Cam Chancellor and Cliff Averill to come back from their injuries. Not sure how I would take it if I was a Seahawks fan, but it looks like the dynasty has come to an end. Could have had 2 Super Bowls if you only ran the ball in the 1-yard line with beast mode. But, it is what it is. Moving on to 2018 NFL playoffs. Notice I'm completely disregarding the Jets because I already did a recap last week about them. The first game of this week's playoff is the Tennessee Titans taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Not sure why the Chiefs are favored by 9 points, especially after the way they looked in the second half of the season. If you were to compare the two tale of this Chiefs team, the first half they were unstoppable, and second half they were very mediocre. Even the Jets beat them, so that should tell you about that team. But Alex Smith going to the playoffs usually isn't so bad. Yes, he has yet to take the next step in the playoffs, but he can guide this team into a victory, especially at Arrowhead with Marcus Mariota and a young Tennessee Titans coming into town with 0 playoff experience. I don't see the Titans making any noise whatsoever. I think the Chiefs with Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, and the receiver, can't get to his name right now. Oh, Tyreek Hill. I think they will all do very well, and the Chiefs will blow out this team. Not sure by how much. I know they're favored by 9. I think they will cover it. The second game on Saturday night, we will see the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Los Angeles Rams. This is a very hard game to pick. However, I'm going to pick experience over home field advantage. In this case, I'm going to pick the Atlanta Falcons to go into Los Angeles at the Coliseum to take down the Rams. Yes, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley had a great season. Yes, they're a high-flying offense. Sean McVay has done an outstanding job this year. Probably will win Coach of the Year. But I just don't think in the playoffs, especially with Atlanta Falcons who blew the Super Bowl last year, they have everything to play for, and they're going to go in hungry and try to upset that team, and I think they get it done. I think Julio Jones will come to life in the playoffs, and Matty Ice has several years of playoff experience, and I expect him to continue to do that. They're favored by 6.5 points, I believe, the Rams, but I don't see that happening. I think in a very closely contested game, the Falcons will pull that out at the end with a Matt Bryant field goal. Then moving on to Sunday's game, we have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jaguars are favored by 9, but that team, just like the Bills, has 0 playoff experiences. I am not sure how this game will shape out to be. The Jaguars fans will be pumped up and ready to go at home. And the Bills fan base, the Bills Mafia travel well, so I expect them to show up in Everbank Field in a large turnout. I just don't think they will be able to cope against that against that Jacksonville defense. The defense will carry this team into the divisional round. Blake Bortles just has to play the way he has been playing the last few weeks, not turn it over, not make any silly mistakes, just give the ball to TJ Yeldon, Leonard Fournette, even Chris Ivory. Just keep the ball away from Buffalo offense because Tyrod Taylor is not so bad. LaShawn McCoy, game time decision, not sure if he's going to be good to go or not, but I just don't think the Bills will have enough firepower to take down the Jaguars, especially on that Jaguars defense will be hard to take down anyway. And then the last game for the Wildcard Weekend, we have the Carolina Panthers traveling to the Dome to take on the New Orleans Saints. Now, Cam Newton, yes, he was in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, but he's not Drew Brees, and that Dome is Drew Brees' second home away from his personal house. This is going to be a very tough game to pick, even though the Panthers are divisional rivals of the Saints, and I think they will try to do anything and everything to keep Drew Brees to the sideline, especially with Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, the way they've been running the ball. Look like the two Georgia running back from the Rose Bowl. They just cannot be stopped. I just don't think Panthers offense can keep up with scoring when it comes to Brees and that offense. Sean Payton will definitely simplify the game. Definitely not going to go for any surprises. I think he usually waits for the Super Bowl to do any of that. But I expect the Saints to take down the Panthers. I just don't think Cam Newton has enough weapons in the offense to make any noise in this playoffs. Now, there you have it. You're going to have the Chiefs, the Falcons on Saturday, and then on Sunday you're going to have the Jaguars and the Saints to win. So I'm only picking one road team to go and upset the home team. Let me know what you think of these picks. Comment, like, subscribe as always. I appreciate any feedback on these picks. Feel free to let me know who your picks are. And, of course, I'll meet you guys next week for the divisional round playoffs. Until then, have a good night.